Well, joining us now outside Mr. Mandela's hospital is the leading South African journalist Debora Patta. These conflicting signals you have, on the one hand, Mr. Zuma saying, you know, he could be, I hope he can go home, and you have President de Klerk, former President de Klerk, flying back from Europe, cutting short his trip.
Well, it's very difficult to know what to make of it. It's terribly confusing. Critical but stable is the official word. It's kind of become a national obsession, sifting through all this information for frank and honest statements.
Global, I can assure you.
Yes, and in some ways it's very Mandela-esque, as he, if there is such a word, as he clings to life, as he lingers. Perhaps that helps the South African nation come to terms with saying goodbye, because after all, this is the nation built from the ruins of apartheid, and behind the bickering over who he belongs to and what his condition is another story, and that story is really about a nation and an extraordinary love between Nelson Mandela and his people.
But the strange thing is he did want to go home, so could it be that they could in some way get him for his dying hours to go home?
It was always Nelson Mandela's wish to go back to Qunu, in fact, his ancestral village. He loves that place, it's where his heart is. It has incredible childhood memories for him. Right now, given his critical status, I can't imagine that being a possibility, but maybe deep down there is some kind of desire, and there's always been this suspicion that if they could get him to a point where he could go home, that would be preferable.
Debora Patta, thank you very much indeed.